10 Forgotten Christmas Desserts from the 1970s That Have Disappeared is not just a title. It is a reminder of a holiday era filled with bold creativity, magazine-cut recipes, and desserts that carried entire family traditions. Today on America's Lost Recipes, we are stepping back into a decade when Christmas sweets were bright, whimsical, and proudly homemade. These desserts once shaped the holiday vibe of living rooms filled with tinsel, vinyl records, and warm lights. Many of them disappeared quietly, replaced by easier shortcuts and store-bought trends. But each one left behind a story that deserves another moment in the spotlight. Stay with me, because understanding why these desserts vanished will reveal how deeply food shaped Christmas in the 1970s. And the final few entries may surprise you more than you expect. The Ribbon Gelatin Christmas Mold. The first forgotten Christmas dessert from the 1970s is the ribbon gelatin mold, a dish that once felt like pure holiday magic. It was bright, layered, and proudly displayed on countless buffet tables, glowing under the soft light of living rooms filled with tinsel and evergreen scent. In that decade, gelatin desserts were more than a trend. They represented creativity, precision, and the joy of presenting something that looked far more complicated than it actually was. Families used tall molds, ring molds, or even vintage copper shapes that had been passed down from grandparents who believed that presentation mattered as much as taste. Each layer of the ribbon gelatin mold carried its own meaning. The bright red layer symbolized festivity, the green layer connected to the holiday spirit, and the creamy white layer created harmony between the two. People took their time with this dessert, pouring one layer, chilling it until firm, then adding the next. It required patience, but that effort created nostalgia long before anyone used the word. Children loved watching the layers come together, and many adults treasured the recipe cards written in careful handwriting or clipped from food magazines. The mold often held a place of honor beside fruitcakes, cookie trays, and pies, adding a pop of color that felt futuristic for the era. Its disappearance came quietly. As microwaves, boxed mixes, and faster desserts took over, layered gelatin began to feel old-fashioned. Families wanted quicker recipes, and the ribbon mold required slow, intentional steps that no longer fit into busy schedules. But when you look at it now, you can see why it mattered. It was not just a dessert. It was a holiday ritual that taught patience, sparked excitement, and made Christmas tables feel special in a way that modern shortcuts rarely capture. The 1970s Snowball Coconut Pudding. The second forgotten Christmas dessert from the 1970s is the Snowball Coconut Pudding, a chilled, cloud-like treat that once stole the spotlight at holiday gatherings. It had a soft, delicate texture that felt almost weightless, and its pure white coating made it look like a winter decoration instead of something you were supposed to eat. In many homes, this dessert marked the official start of Christmas week, because families prepared it the night before guests arrived. The base was simple but thoughtful. It combined vanilla custard, whipped topping, and soaked ladyfingers or plain sponge pieces to create a pudding that held its shape while staying incredibly tender. Once chilled, the mixture was rolled into small spheres and covered with finely shredded coconut. When arranged on a chill platter, the snowballs looked like miniature drifts straight out of a seasonal postcard. A lot of the charm came from the way families interacted with the dessert. Children would sneak a few coconut shreds while adults carefully placed each snowball so that the full tray looked perfectly frosted. Holiday magazines in the 1970s promoted this dessert heavily because it was photogenic and surprisingly budget-friendly, which made it ideal for families looking to stretch ingredients without losing holiday flair. Its disappearance happened for a few reasons. Refrigerated desserts slowly lost popularity when rich, oven-baked treats became the new standard for Christmas gatherings. Many families also drifted away from homemade custards and puddings as boxed mixes and instant varieties took over. Over time, the snowball coconut pudding faded into the background, remembered mainly through old cookbooks and handwritten recipe cards. Today, it stands as a quiet reminder of the decade's softer side. It reflects a time when Christmas desserts focused on comfort, imagination, and the small details that turned a simple recipe into a memory worth keeping. The jellied fruit ring. The fourth forgotten Christmas dessert from the 1970s is the jellied fruit ring, a colorful, circular confection that once drew eyes and curiosity at every holiday gathering. It was more than just a sweet treat, it was a statement of creativity, an edible centerpiece that reflected both the era's love of gelatin desserts and the festive spirit of Christmas. Families often displayed it proudly on their buffet tables, where its glossy, jewel-toned slices caught the light and invited admiration before the first bite. The dessert was built around a ring mold, often made of metal or vintage ceramic, into which multiple layers of flavored gelatin were poured. Each layer incorporated canned fruit or small pieces of maraschino cherries, pineapple, or citrus segments, creating bursts of color and texture within the translucent gelatin. The careful layering produced a striking visual effect, with each slice revealing vibrant, jewel-like patterns reminiscent of stained glass. Preparation required patience. Each gelatin layer had to set fully before the next was added, a process that demanded timing and care. While simple in ingredients, the skill and execution made the dessert feel luxurious. Children often watched with wide eyes as the layers solidified, building excitement for the final presentation. Adults took pride in achieving clean, distinct layers that could be sliced perfectly for each guest. Its disappearance can be attributed to the decline of elaborate gelatin desserts in home kitchens. By the 1980s, convenience foods and easier-to-make desserts dominated holiday tables. The jellied fruit ring, with its delicate layering and extended chilling time, no longer fit into the modern approach to holiday entertaining. Despite fading from mainstream memory, the jellied fruit ring remains a symbol of 1970s Christmas ingenuity. It reminds us that desserts were not only about taste, but about visual delight, patience, and the joyful ante. The meringue icicle tower. The sixth forgotten Christmas dessert from the 1970s is the meringue icicle tower, an elegant creation that combines simplicity with dramatic visual appeal. Unlike heavier holiday desserts, this treat relied on crisp, airy meringues stacked into a towering display, often accented with holly leaves, candied fruits, or a light dusting of powdered sugar to simulate snow. It was a dessert designed to impress, both in appearance and in the delicate crunch of its layers. The foundation of the tower was basic yet precise: stiffly beaten egg whites, sugar, and a pinch of cream of tartar, baked slowly to create meringue shells that were crisp on the outside but slightly tender inside. Each meringue piece was carefully arranged into a cone or circular tower, often secured with more meringue or a thin layer of whipped cream. Some families incorporated small candies or festive sprinkles for a touch of color, enhancing the visual drama of the dessert. Children and adults alike were captivated by the towering construction. Setting it on the table elicited awe, as it looked almost too delicate to touch. It was more than a dessert, it was a centerpiece, symbolizing holiday craftsmanship and the joy of homemade creativity. Meringue recipes were featured in magazines and cookbooks of the 1970s, emphasizing the skill and patience required, and families took pride in the time and care invested in such an impressive showpiece. Its disappearance came gradually. Modern holiday trends favored richer, denser desserts, while time-consuming meringue preparations lost appeal in busier households. The fragility of the tower also made it impractical for contemporary entertaining, where durability often outweighed artistry. Yet, the meringue icicle tower remains a testament to 1970s holiday ingenuity. It reminds us that desserts were once as much about spectacle as they were about flavor. Rediscovering it today evokes the magic of an era when patience. The cherry almond torte. The seventh forgotten Christmas dessert from the 1970s is the cherry almond torte, a delicate, nutty, and visually striking cake that once held a place of honor on holiday tables. Unlike the heavy fruitcakes commonly associated with Christmas, this torte offered a lighter, more refined alternative, balancing the sweetness of cherries with the subtle, toasted flavor of almonds. Families who served it prized both its taste and its elegance, making it a signature dessert for festive gatherings. The base of the torte was typically a sponge or génoise cake, enriched with finely ground almonds and occasionally a touch of almond extract for depth. Between the layers, fresh or canned cherries were folded into whipped cream or custard, providing bursts of tartness that complemented the nutty undertones. Some versions included a drizzle of cherry syrup or a dusting of powdered sugar for a polished, celebratory presentation. Clear glass serving dishes or ornate cake stands highlighted the layers, allowing each slice to reveal the careful assembly within. Children were enchanted by the jewel-like cherries, while adults appreciated the balance of flavor and texture. Magazines and cookbooks of the 1970s often praised the cherry almond torte as a modern twist on traditional Christmas cakes, offering a sophisticated yet approachable dessert that impressed guests without demanding overly complex techniques. Its decline coincided with changing holiday trends. As convenience desserts and mass-produced cakes became more common, layered tortes that required careful assembly and delicate handling gradually disappeared from family menus. The cherry almond torte, with its combination of flavor, texture, and visual appeal, was quietly replaced by simpler, quicker desserts. Today, it stands as a reminder of the artistry and attention to detail that defined 1970s Christmas baking. Rediscovering the cherry almond torte allows us to experience a holiday. The pineapple upside-down holiday ring. The eighth forgotten Christmas dessert from the 1970s is the pineapple upside-down holiday ring, a festive twist on a classic cake that transformed everyday ingredients into a centerpiece dessert. Unlike standard cakes, this version embraced the holiday spirit through shape, presentation, and playful garnishes, often taking the form of a circular ring to symbolize unity and celebration. Families placed it in the center of the table, where its bright pineapple slices and maraschino cherries drew immediate attention. The dessert began with a light, buttery cake batter poured over a layer of pineapple rings and maraschino cherries, arranged in a precise, visually appealing pattern. Brown sugar and a touch of butter created a caramelized glaze as the cake baked, giving it a shiny, golden finish. Once cooled slightly, the cake was inverted onto a serving platter, revealing the decorative fruit atop a soft, moist cake base. Some households added a sprinkle of holiday sprinkles, chopped nuts, or a dusting of powdered sugar to enhance its festive appearance. Children were captivated by the bright colors and the glossy, jewel-like fruits, often reaching for the cherries before the first slice was served. Adults admired the careful assembly and the nostalgic aroma of caramelizing sugar mingling with tropical fruit, a combination that felt indulgent yet approachable. Magazines and cookbooks of the 1970s featured this dessert as a modern adaptation of a familiar classic, showing families how to elevate a simple cake into a holiday highlight. Its disappearance was gradual. Changing tastes, convenience-driven baking, and the rise of simpler desserts led to the pineapple upside-down holiday ring fading from memory. Today, it is rarely seen outside vintage cookbooks or handwritten family recipes, but it remains a testament to a time when creativity and presentation were central to holiday baking. Rediscovering this dessert. The peppermint cream cheese logs. The ninth forgotten Christmas dessert from the 1970s is the peppermint cream cheese log, a festive treat that combined the tangy richness of cream cheese with the bright, refreshing flavor of peppermint. Shaped into elegant logs or simple cylinders, these desserts were often rolled in crushed candy canes, chopped nuts, or cocoa powder, creating a textured, visually striking confection that became a holiday favorite in many American homes. The base was simple yet versatile: softened cream cheese mixed with powdered sugar, a touch of butter, and peppermint extract to achieve a smooth, flavorful mixture. Some recipes incorporated crushed cookies or graham cracker crumbs to add structure, while others focused solely on the creamy texture. Once formed into logs, the desserts were chilled to firm up, then rolled in coatings that added both contrast and seasonal flair. The final product was as much a visual delight as a taste sensation, often presented alongside other holiday sweets on decorative platters. Children adored the candy cane coating and the cool, minty flavor, while adults appreciated the balance of sweetness and tang, as well as the simplicity of preparation paired with elegant presentation. In the 1970s, magazines and cookbooks frequently promoted these cream cheese logs as a no-bake option that still felt sophisticated enough for holiday entertaining, making them accessible to families who wanted both beauty and flavor without extensive baking skills. The decline of the peppermint cream cheese log occurred as holiday dessert trends shifted toward more elaborate, baked goods or commercially packaged treats. Its labor-intensive assembly, while minimal, required chilling and careful rolling, which made it less convenient in modern fast-paced kitchens. Today, it stands as a symbol of 1970s holiday ingenuity, offering a glimpse into a time when simple ingredients could be transformed into festive elegance.